Good afternoon YouTube, and welcome back to Warwick Road. So this is going to be a summer update 2022. I haven't been online for several months. A lot of issues, mainly we had a lot of hot weather, so like everybody else with the loft layout, far too hot to come up here and do anything at all. Tried a couple of times and absolutely waste of time, way too hot. So that was an issue. Obviously work, garden, stuff like that. And unfortunately all of us went down with COVID, so I was off work for a week. And it took longer than I thought to recover, but that's all done now. So this is just a quick update on what's happened. There's a little bits happened to the layout, but I've got some new additions obviously over the last 4 months. I've been acquiring a few bits. eBay model shops. Haven't got to a toy fair or model exhibition yet this year, but hope to do one in a couple of weeks. So just some new additions and some items that I've been wanting for a while that came up for sale. So the first one in shot is this Hornby Class 60. I've got a couple of others. I've got the, I think it's EWS Trans Rail, and which is sound fitted, and I've also got the DB Schenker, the red DB Schenker. That's also sound fitted. It's a really nice model, probably one of, in my opinion, one of Hornby's best. This came up on eBay, so I'd been watching it for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden the buyer offered me do that offer. Topped out about £115, so I've bought it and it runs fine, lights work. All I've got is one missing buffer, which maybe in the box it's dropped out, or I just go and get another one, that's fine. And the horns are missing, but I know that West Hill Wagon Works do replacement horns for the 60s, so that's no problem. The only problem I've got with this is that you can't get hold of a TTS sound chip for these. Just not available. I think I saw one and it started at auction at about £85. And for that money I'd be better off spending another £15 and getting a proper, I think, V5 or lock sound, whatever the sound decoders are. So that's the next step. I think with the cost of sound, I've got a few sound decoders, but I won't be putting all my locos to sound just because of the sheer expense. I've got 50 locos, so I think I've got 11 sounds, so I'm not about to spend money on getting 40 upgraded to sound. So my next purchase is these Acura Scale biomass wagons, IIA. So I initially bought 4 packs of these from Rails of Sheffield, had them on special offer. So I snapped them up. I've been after biomass wagons for years, since Hornby first brought out their Drax wagons. And the idea was with a Drax liveried 60 to stick those behind it. But unfortunately those wagons now, if they come up for auction on eBay, are starting at £150 each. And there's no way I'm going to spend, I mean I've got 12 of these biomass now, there's no way I'm going to spend that sort of money just for the wagons that are compared to these old design. So stump for these, and these are really nice wagons. The detail on the side of these is absolutely superb. I couldn't believe it when I got them out of the box. They're just superb. These are the first Acura Scale wagons I've purchased, and I'm just super impressed with them. So, you know, I've got some of the old Bachmann Freightliner, the big hopper wagons. So I think I might get rid of that, get shot of those, and get some Acura Scale coal wagons, because they are just so nice. In saying that, I watched a video from a YouTuber called UV Rail, and he'd reviewed these wagons, but unfortunately I didn't pick up on it until I'd bought them, about the amount of friction that these generate when they're running. They don't seem that they're running free. So obviously when I got them out of the layout, hooked them all up, it was an absolute nightmare. They wouldn't go around the first corner. Now I've got second, third and fourth radius curves on this layout, which don't affect any other wagons, but these Hatton 66, Bachmann 66 go around all of the third and fourth radius curves with absolutely no problem. I don't use them on the second radius curves. So I couldn't figure out why. The UV rail said that there was a tiny little bit of the detail that was foul in the bogies. So when it turns, the bogies would rub up against this. It would actually almost bring them to a standstill if you were going slowly enough, then cause it to derail. So you were supposed to cut a bit off the bottom of this, and there was a link for a Mercura scale, would send you a video. So I contacted a Mercura scale and I haven't heard back from them yet. So I sort of did some investigating and found there's a part that's added for detail that barely the wheels can hardly turn. You know, even a fourth radius curve, it still rubs up against it. But it's a clip-on part, and I've removed that, and I've got no issues now at all. So I think it's just this detailed bodywork is fouling the bogies when they're in the turn. So that's been done, and they run beautifully because it's quite a heavy wagon compared to others I've got. So obviously when the locos pull in this weight, 12 of them, plus the friction issues, you know, even a class 60 that's got a pretty powerful motor, they would just, I had them on hunt couplings and they would just uncouple straight away. So it would just pull away with one wagon, and then that would come off because of the fouling issues. So I think I've got it sorted. I've only run them for sort of 20 minutes and had a couple of issues, but nowhere near as bad as I had before. So I should just keep persevering with that. And it may be track work, but I wouldn't think I'd have to change track work significantly just for what are standard wagons. So hopefully taking this plastic part off will resolve the issue with the derailing and the friction that they were causing. So the next new addition is this Bachmann Class 37. Now I've been after a 37 like this in as modern livery as I could find it, because I like the 37s with the split, they're called split code box code at the front. It just looks so different from any other locomotive I've got. So I've been chasing one of these for a while, but this one again, I got this from a model shop online. It was a very reasonable price, DCC ready. It's in excellent condition, it is used, but the person that had it before didn't bother with opening the detailing parts, so they're all still in their original packet. So literally I've got to do that. I'm going to take the cab off and look at the driver, because the Bachmann drivers are pretty poorly finished, so I might just do that, maybe give the driver a white shirt or something, because it doesn't really stand out that there's a driver in there, because everything around the cab is the black on the bonnet, the roof and everything. It's quite dark, so get that to stand out a bit. But again, a really nice runner and a really nice loco. So this is the second Colas Ralph 8 loco I've got after the Hatton 66. And in looking, I also noticed there's a Class 60, but with 4 Class 60s, I really don't want any more. The next purchase was one I was very lucky to get hold of. When these were about to hit the shops, I saw lots of adverts saying that they're in stock, place your order now, and I figured no, there'll be one spare, give it a few weeks, like the 66, it Hatton 66, there'll be some. I'm totally oblivious to how popular the Deltic was, so I was gutted when I missed out. Cura Scale, Hattons, Rails of Sheffield had all sold out. And then it just by chance got home from work, had to do something on the PC, read an email, and then an email popped up from Rails of Sheffield to say they had a limited number of these brand new for sale. So literally I bought it straight away. I couldn't believe I'd got one. It was here within 2 days. The price is amazing, £160, and there's been a million reviews of them. The only thing I've had to do with this is take the chains off, because it does cause issues going around some of the curves here because of the size of it. But it's beautiful, beautiful loco, absolutely beautiful. Probably one of my best. I had the Bachmann one, which I've since sold on, but that only had the partial yellow ends. This has got the full yellow ends, and I think this looks so much better. And this loco is going to be the first to get sound fitted, so I'll go and get a proper ESU Lock Sound 5, I think they're called, for this, because I love the sound of the Deltic. Although a modern image, this is still one of my favourite locos. I've never seen one in action. Plan to do that either later this year or next year, go to a diesel gala where a Deltic is running. But this Cura Scale is absolutely fantastic. The detail, this looks better I think because it's got the white springs, and the axle boxes are picked out in yellow as well. I think makes it stand out, but the underframe detail is absolutely exquisite. So really love this loco. And I also got the driver and second man from a Cura Scale as well, so that they've been installed, and that just adds to it. But brilliant. I'm so impressed with a Cura Scale with the wagons, even with the issue I've had with them. They're still immense wagons. This, I've pre-ordered the GBRF Class 92. I don't know when that's going to be here. I guess a few months, probably into next year. But this is a brand that I'd never really looked at, but take very seriously now, because the quality of what they put out for what I've bought and what I've seen is absolutely superb. So the last locomotive I acquired was this GBRF Hornby Class 60. Again, wasn't planning to get one of these, but again, when I went down to Gauge Master and saw these in the cabinet, because when you look at a box and you look at the artwork on the side, it really looks a bit plasticky, and I mean, it is a plastic model, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't look great on the artwork on the side of the box, although that's a picture of the actual thing. But when you see them in front of you, they really do look good. Like I said, I really like the 60. This is the 4th one, and when I was DC, I think I had about 6 or 7 of the older Lima Class 60s, and they were the best Lima locos I had, and probably at that point on my layout were the best locos I had. Obviously time moves on, but this is really nice. Chips in the post. Again, it's going to have to just be a standard 8-pin decoder because the TTS are out of stock. And to buy a new chip, like I said earlier, is going to be nearly as much as I paid for the loco. Again, the person that had the 37 up for sale had this up for sale, and again I just got this offer of, I think it was about 15% off, which made it a very attractive price. Again, these new in this GBRF colours, when I was looking at Gauge Master, I think it was about £208, and that's just for a DCC ready. That's not DCC fitted. So when you start putting the cost of a chip into that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure it's DCC ready is £208. I don't want to do me a disservice, but you had another 25 quid, 20 quid for a decoder. You know, you're talking getting up to 230, 240 pound, and you can get sound fitted locos for that from Dapol. You know, the 68 is up near there. So these are becoming a bit pricey new. So for me, if I want 60s, they have to be second hand. But unfortunately, like I say, I can't get the sound. So next time the layouts shot, the 90 will be running. So the next purchase I got, and again did a lot of business on Rouse of Sheffield with their eBay site. When I'd signed up for a newsletter and everything, these popped up. So I initially picked up these Mark 1 Pullmans, which again never really considered, and I had the offer on eBay to buy one really cheap, and it wasn't a very good runner, but all it was the springs underneath the coupling that return the coupling to the central position were missing, so every time I went around a corner it derailed. So I've just got to get a couple of springs. I've done that before on a Batman coach, and that'll be fine. But just love the little lights on the tables, all lights up. So of course once I've got one, I couldn't stop there. So again, Rails had got a special, so it was like 2 packs of 3, and they were 60 quid, which I thought was a great price because I've seen them at 60 and 70 pounds each. So I have 7 that run, and the 8th one needs work. So I've actually got a Mark 1 Pullman train. So I've got the Deltic, I've got the 37, I've got lots in the 50. So I've got some heritage diesel stock that can pull it. If not, I've got the Belmont Scottish Class 66 or anything will tow these. But yeah, I love these coaches. Only a couple of them have got some of the lights don't work. I think one coach the lights don't work at all, but that probably is the little connectors at the bottom of the bogies not touching the wheels, the pickups. So I've just got to get that and have a look. But literally they are really nice, and I couldn't believe that the little metal handrails, they're all on all the coaches, that are all there, so none of them are missing. But it's just the level of detail for this coach is very good, considering what you pay for a new coach these days with half the detail. So I don't know how many of you remember from my previous video, which shows the work I'd done to put in a extra track that would lead down into a storage yard, which I still haven't finished and wired up properly yet. But I'd put a bridge to the container depot, and I was quite happy with it, and I'd scenicked it and everything, and I used this track to store some wagons when I was changing over from one wreck of wagons to another. And it was only when I positioned this container lorry onto the bridge I realised I had a massive problem. I'd built this ridiculously steep inclined humpback bridge that when you put a lorry, if I put the lorry on top, either the cab hang over one end and the wheels of the last 3 wheels in the trailer stuck out and it was resting on the middle wheels of the trailer, the combi trailer. So it just looked ridiculous. So I moved the truck back to buy the barrier, thinking, okay, that's fine. But still in my mind I knew it wasn't right. So I literally ripped the whole lot out, and thanks to Graham at Woodhill Park, who had shown his last video was work on his level crossing, I put a level crossing in because it looked more believable. The other thing looked, when I looked at the pictures and looked at video footage, looked a bit silly, a bit contrived. I'll just stick a humpback bridge in there. So I put this in there. All I've got to do to finish it off is the yellow hatch markings, and I don't know what they're called, but between the road and the track there's like wooden slats, I can't remember what they're called, that stop people from walking on to the tracks. So I've just got to put them in there, but it's kind of halfway there. So the road's down, a little bit of scenery around there, got some lights and CCTV cameras. I'm not sure whether I will go with proper lights just yet. My electrical skills are not brilliant, and if I do these around the level crossing, then I've probably got to then do it to all the street lights. I want to get some of the buildings with internal lights. Because of the size of the layout, I'm obviously thinking about if I had this lit and everything else not lit, it would just look a bit odd. So I might just leave everything unlit and then work out a plan of whether I keep it all unlit or whether I just light the buildings, whatever. But I don't want to start on one bit and then take it out because it just looks ridiculous because the rest of it isn't lit. My last purchase was, this is a Pricer figure, this is HO scale, but there are no, at the moment, that I can find 00 scale golfers. So literally I've got to try and find, there is another Pricer which is about 5 golfers, but they're all swinging their clubs. So I'm trying to find one where you've got 2 or 3 other people standing watching him and some golf bags. But that will be over time. Maybe someone will do 3D printed ones, but it just finishes off the scene really nicely with the stream and the bridge. Quite happy with that. So there's not much more to do there, maybe a few more trees and bushes and some more figures. All that remains to me is to say thank you for watching. It's only a short update because I haven't been up here for at least 2 months. The track in parts is dirty, so every time I try and run trains they stuttering, stopping. I spent more time sort of walking around, pushing the train back, cleaning the track, which is filthy. So before the next video I've got to clean all the track and try and keep trains running regularly to keep the track clean. So thank you again for watching. Thank you to everyone that's subscribed to the layout, sticking with it. I know I haven't been around for a while, obviously the reasons I stated, but now the weather's cooled down, work's settled down a bit, and I've got lots of bits and pieces I want to do, but with the track down, what I want to do is do those pieces as and when I can, but still have the trains running in the background, because I think what I've done is got so hooked into scenery that trains haven't run for months, and then all of a sudden I realise the track's dirty and the size of the layout. Sometimes I think, oh, I really can't be bothered to clean the track today. So I'd left everything for a couple of weeks, so I just thought I can't face it. I don't know, because I've spent so much time up here, you get burnt out, get fed up with things. So sort of back now, rejuvenated, and you know, it's great to see trains running on a layout, any layout. And with the variety I've got now, from the Pullmans to the biomass to the container wagons, car wagons, HSTs, the 350s. I've got lots of variety, so I really need to get out here and have like a little plan that on certain days I'm going to run certain locos with certain wagons or certain diesels with the heritage trains or rail tours. So that's the plan going forward, and obviously I can go longer into the winter because the loft is done. So lots of scenery projects, but hopefully they can run in tandem with trains running on Warwick Road. So once again, thanks to everybody for sticking with it. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. Any questions, put in the comments. I really like to read the comments. It's really great to get feedback, good or bad. I'm always learning. I don't have the answers to everything, so if there's something obvious I've done wrong, then please let me know. And until next time, happy modelling, stay safe, and speak to you soon. Bye bye.